Good morning, friends. Welcome to Ahmedabad Management Association. As the title says, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So there are all three generations over here who did something good yesterday, who are doing good something today, and majority of you who are going to do something good tomorrow. So I'm sure that this brand conference will be helpful to you all for your learning, networking, and growing together. We are thankful to Sanjay Bhai and his team as chairman of PR committee, Ahmedabad Management Association, for initiating this. This is consecutive third year, and we have been doing this brand summit. Thank you all the participants, sponsors, Supernova, and all committee members. Dr. Jainil Bhai, I will welcome you over here to welcome our first speaker, Mr. Sonal Dabral. And thank you very much, Mr. Shailesh Goyal, Chairman Extension Committee, to be here with us, Giriraj Bhai, Nishit Bhai, and all the student participants. Learn more, grow more. That is what the objective of Ahmedabad Management Association is. Wish you all good luck. Have a happy learning time. Thank you very much.
Good morning, all of you. Wonderful. A very warm welcome to you all to the Ahmedabad Management Association. I think Sanjay Bhai, Unmesh Bhai, when the team comes together, you can only be assured of the fact that it's going to be a power-packed day, full of ideas, full of wonderful people, not just on the stage, but also off the stage as well. My only request is please utilize this day to the fullest. Meet as many new people as you can. Ask the questions to your speakers as and when possible, and try to make the most. And very happy to share with all of you that today, to open this conference and as our keynote speaker, we have none other than Mr. Sonal Dabral with us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a loud round of applause for him. For a lot of you who are professionals, who are businessmen, I'm sure you all know the kind of works that he has done, but some young friends here, students, I'll be happy to introduce his credentials to you. He is a globally acclaimed creative consultant, writer, and director, and founder of Tribha, which is a Mumbai-based creative consultancy. Formerly, he was the chief creative officer of Ogilvy South and Southeast Asia and vice chairman of Ogilvy India, and has shaped some of the most iconic campaigns across India and Asia over a 30-year career, working on legendary brands like Fevicol, Cadbury, Asian Paints, Vodafone, Dove, and Uber, among many others. In fact, a matter of pride for Ahmedabad for sure that he's an alumnus of NID, which is the National Institute of Design. And in fact, Sanjay Bhai was just mentioning that one of our board members who used to be director of NID is also willing to come down quickly, wrap up the meeting just so that he could say hello to Sonal. So I think that's the kind of work he has done. He's, of course, an award-winning agencies that he has led in the past, and has worked across India, Malaysia, and Singapore, extensively maintaining and mentoring creative talent worldwide. His storytelling spans advertising, film, theater, and digital media, with his debut feature film now, Go Noni Go, premiering at MAMI and slated for an OTT release in 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure this could have gone on much longer, but the Secretariat wanted him to be directly closer to you and keep this very short. So, sir, forgive us for keeping it very short, but I think we'll leave more time for you and the audience to interact rather than the introduction formalities. But I have a small love of affection to be given away. I request Shailesh Bhai Goyal to please come forward. Shailesh Bhai is the chairman of our extension committee and founder of Simulations, which is a PR and advertising consulting firm. So, Shailesh Bhai, please. Yeah. All right, wonderful. So we have about, I just suspect about 50 minutes with him, and then some 10 minutes in the questions in case if we find enough time, or else we'll see how this goes. But all of this who are walking in, quickly settle in. And thank you to all the board members who have made it. Shilpa Ben, Sunil Parekh sir, Professor D'Souza, thank you so much. Yeah, sir, please.
So, it feels really good to be back in Ahmedabad, as you could be seeing from my face, yeah? And because I genuinely love this city. I'm not joking, I genuinely love this city. Not because I love the food here, because I love quite a few things about this city, and it's unfortunate that मैं इतनी बार यहाँ पे आ नहीं पाया हूँ, कभी-कभी आया हूँ to take workshops, so I'm very, very happy that I'm here today. And why I love this city is because everything about creativity I learned in the city, at NID, in the corridors of NID, not just from textbooks, yeah, because from textbooks you don't learn so much creativity, as you'll see in my talk. Not from textbook, not from case studies, but from corridors, workshops, late night discussions, arguments, and critiques, and of course failures. You learn a lot from failure. So I would say that Ahmedabad has taught me everything about creativity, and it taught me something very early in my life. We were, 17, 18 when we came to NID. And it taught me that creativity is not just beautifying things. It's not about beautifying things. Creativity is a way of seeing the world. Creativity is all about solving problems, solving genuine problems. That's what creativity is. And it also taught me that it's not that function follows form, form follows function. Your problem has to be solved first beautifully, whether it's by a product, by an ad, by a software. It has to be solved beautifully. Then whatever form it takes becomes beautiful. If a chair is really, really comfortable to sit, you will know that it's beautiful. Because a chair primarily is meant to be seated really comfortable. So as I said, creativity is not about beautifying the world, but it's a way of seeing the world. And standing here today, speaking at the Ahmedabad Management Association in front of you, because of that, it's feeling special to me. And why is it feeling special? Because management without creativity is just efficiency, nothing else. And creativity without management, वो तो फिर भगवान ही मालिक है. Creativity without management is mess, yeah. And creativity without management just remains potential, nothing else. And we all know creativity without management can be so, how messy it can be. So thank you very much for having me here, AMA, for inviting me here. And so, as Jainil Bhai said, my name is Sonal Dabral. And I spent over 3 decades in advertising in agencies like Lintas, where I started my career, then on to Ogilvy, then to DDB, then back to Ogilvy. In between, I was at Mudra also. And I worked across 3 different markets, which is Malaysia, Singapore, and India. And a few years ago, I did something that, this was almost a year before pandemic. I did something that surprised me a lot and surprised some of my friends, my family, everybody. I quit agency life. I quit agency life to pursue something that I had wanted to do, but I had not been able to take that step. And that was to write and direct films, to create longer stories. So people often ask me, why would you leave such a comfortable life? Yeah. Corner offices, business class flights, and I used to really love that, the adrenaline of sitting in a plane, going from one office to the other, meeting people, nice hotels, big titles also, Southeast Asia Chief Creative Officer, very long title, longer than my name, yeah. But my answer to all those questions, to me, when I asked myself that question, why? To me, to everybody, my answer was that comfort is a really beautiful place. When you get comfortable, it's a really beautiful place. but there's nothing that grows there. Comfort is a nice place, but nothing grows in that place. You stop growing when you become too comfortable. So I think every time you're getting too comfortable, just up and challenge yourself one more time. So before I go further, let me say one thing very clearly, that all of us who are sitting in this room are in some way creative, because that's why we are here. We are invested in brands, we are invested in learning about brands. And I must say that all of us creative people are really blessed people. I sincerely believe that creative people are blessed people. Imagine getting paid for telling stories. Imagine getting paid for imagining things. Imagine creating something out of nothing. I mean, how blessed can you be, right? And you get paid for all that. And every time that I'm feeling down, and many youngsters are here, right? And I want to urge all of you that every time you feel that you're feeling down, ideas are not coming, ideas are getting rejected, yeah? Have gratitude that God gave you imagination, that God brought you into this field of marketing, advertising, creativity, yeah? So I grew up in small towns across India, then I studied design, I worked in advertising. I love playing blackjack, every time I go to a city where there's a casino, I head to the blackjack table, right? So I've got a running score with casinos across the world. I don't know how many casinos across the world, whether I've gone for meetings or for shoots or whatever, right? I've headed to the casino to play blackjack, right? And I consider myself quite good at blackjack also. I know the whole strategy table inside out. I love cooking. Seeing my mom cook such delicious dishes when I was growing up. And during COVID, like many people, I got into it really in a big way. So I love cooking. I love writing, of course. Writing has been part of my profession. I love that. I sing some songs also, Bollywood songs. Not very well, but with a lot of confidence. And somewhere along the way, I realized that my life, my work, my hobbies, everything was teaching me lessons. Everything. Whether it was my hobbies, whether it was blackjack, whether it was cooking, whether it was work, everything was teaching me lessons. And so I thought today I'll share with you some of those lessons. And I've picked out 5 lessons, although many lessons have been learned, but I picked out 5 lessons that I've learned from life. And as a kid growing up, my mom and my grandmom, right, because my dad passed away very early, so we grew up at our nani's place. They used to tell a lot of stories. So first lesson that I learned is that we are our own best stories. We are living in an era right now where AI is at our fingertips, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, yeah, and many more will be coming, are already there. And it becomes very easy for us to get into that, go into Google every time we got a problem. But sometimes it's best to Google our own hearts, Google our own memories, Google the stories that our moms told us, Google the stories that our grandmoms told us, Google the stories, learn from the stories or get ideas from the stories that were told to us by our neighbors. I assure you that every time you face a problem, if you go back in your life, you will find that that problem in some way or the other has occurred to you or somebody else, and some very innovative solution was found. Yeah. So even when coming up with ideas, let's say you're working on a film idea or a campaign idea or advertising idea or a brand idea, take the help of Google for research and all that, but look into yourself also a lot. So that's the first lesson that I learned, that we are our best stories. The stories that we grew up with, our streets that we grew up with, because that's where our identity lives. So the best stories come from there. So I grew up in Agra, as most of my schooling life happened in Agra. And every time there used to be these holidays, we used to go to our mama's place, which was in Firozabad. So it was like half an hour away by this rickety old bus. So every time I was a little kid, got into the bus, and just 5 minutes before the bus came, right, bus started, one bookseller used to get onto the bus, right, and with a little portly of his, with little books. And he used to get into the bus, and this is how he used to go. Tuck, 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 tuck. He used to hit the side of the bus. Tuck, 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 tuck.
भाई और बहनों, आपकी बस जाने में 5 मिनट का टाइम बाकी है। आपका बच्चा अंग्रेजी में फेल हो जाता है, कम नंबर पाता है। अब हम उस बच्चे को सिखाने के लिए आए हैं अंग्रेजी सिखाने का ये आसान तरीका। इस पुस्तिका में कविता के माध्यम से अंग्रेजी सिखाने का आसान तरीका बताया गया है। फादर पिता है, मदर है माता, रिलेशन माने रिश्ता नाता। गन होती है बंदूक, बक्सा होता है संदूक, जस्ट भाई को चाहिए आवाज दे के मांग ले, मांगने का कोई कीमत कोई पैसा नहीं।
So that's where I learned my first lesson of advertising, right? When he did tuck, 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 what did he do? In today's day and age, when you are scrolling, right, something hooks you. So that tuck, 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 tuck was the hook. Tuck, 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 tuck. Then he got into consumer insight. आपका बच्चा अंग्रेजी में फेल हो जाता है. This is the first thing he says. Not that my book has got this. He says, आपका बच्चा अंग्रेजी में फेल हो जाता है, कम नंबर पाता है. And then he gave his. And then, right at the end, he put in the offer. जिस भाई को चाहिए, आवाज देकर मांग ले. मांगने का कोई कीमत, कोई पैसा नहीं. मांगने का कोई कीमत, कोई पैसा नहीं. If you are buying it, then I'll charge you, right? So this man was doing copywriting long before I got into copywriting. That rhythm, the street intelligence, now that stayed with me. So let me now share with you a film that I did, right? And just to give an example of how stories come from around us. So this was one hot afternoon in KL, Kuala Lumpur, where I was working. And we had a meeting with one of the clients. And that was not supposed to be a good meeting. We were being, sacked because client had some problems with the work we had been doing, or there was some panga. And I was the chief creative officer at that time of small office, Ogilvy, Malaysia, but really hard-working office. And we had my managing director friend, right, who was from Malaysia himself. And in his car, we were going for the meeting. Garmiya thi, right, and I used to smoke a lot at that time. I used to smoke like 20-30 cigarettes a day. तो मैं बहुत ही स्ट्रेस था मीटिंग की वजह से. तो जैसे ही हम कार में बैठे, मैंने कहा, मैंने सिगरेट का पैकेट निकाला. So the guy looks at me and said, no, right, that bloody new car, Sonal, you cannot do that, brand new car, right? And here, poor guy had just taken possession of the car a day back. So वो मतलब लेदर की भी सीट्स की बिल्कुल जो नई खुशबू होती है, that was there. So he looked at me and I felt kind of bad, but I was stressed. So I put the cigarette back, and then car is going, and I'm really stressed, and he could see me that I'm getting fidgety. So he says, then he puts off the air conditioner and rolls down the windows. And then he said, it's okay. Let me be nice to you. You can smoke. So I said, thank you, yaar. I took I lit a cigarette, and I'm now looking out of the window, car is going. But my mind is racing because I'm asking myself, why should people be nice to smokers? Second-hand smoke. I'm spoiling his bloody car, his brand new car. Second-hand smoke I'm giving him. Poor guy doesn't smoke. Why should he be nice to me? By the time we reached the meeting, I had an idea for an anti-smoking commercial. But I realized that we couldn't do that commercial in Malaysia, because we had just won a cigarette account. So I can't handle the cigarette account and make anti-smoking commercials. So I called up Piyush And we made the commercial in India. I flew down to India and we worked here, and Prasoon made this commercial. So this is that story. This will tell you why should people be nice to smokers. That was the answer that I got, and I wrote this script. So this, why I wanted to share this was that the ideas are actually all around us. We just need to keep our windows of our mind open. As I said, Google our own stories. Look around us. So take a look at this. 1 minute. Sorry, just see it again. Huh? Just, yeah.
भाई साहब आप बैठ जाओ इधर
नहीं
आप
प्लीज
आप बैठ जाओ इधर
नहीं प्लीज
बैठो बैठो बैठो
Studies show that a person loses 7 minutes of his life every time he smokes a cigarette. Be nice to smokers. They don't have much time left.
So, this was the answer that I got, and ultimately his car was smelling really bad, but he was very happy because Malaysia, because of this commercial, won the Grand Prix. A small office, we won the Grand Prix, Asian Grand Prix for the best ad film of the year that year, in the whole of Asia. So it was. This is another story, which is, we were handling McDowell's #1 at DDB Mudra, DDB Mudra I was handling. McDowell's #1 whiskey, which is, I should say soda here because we are in Gujarat, yeah. In fact, we used to sell it as soda. It was a surrogate product. I mean, I shouldn't be saying it loudly, but maybe I'm not handling it anymore, so we can say it. And I used to personally work on it because I used to love that brand. And the whole positioning of it was about friendship. And we had Dhoni as the brand ambassador. And we were preparing a new campaign for it. So I'd worked on a new campaign with the DDB Mudra Bangalore office, because Bangalore was the client. And we had a full campaign ready to present to the client. And I'm now flying to Bangalore to present the work the next day. And at the airport, I sat down, and there was something bothering me about the campaign. That it's really nice, the campaign. It's a great looking campaign, great words, great everything, great emotions. But I kept going back to my friendships in Agra, the school friendships, the mohalla friendships. और आगरा में क्या होता था, and हम लोगों की सबकी बचपन की अलग अलग यादें होंगी, right? और जब अगर आप याद करें ना बचपन की या कॉलेज डेज की एंड ऑल दैट, जहाँ पे पहली फ्रेंडशिप्स बनती हैं, जहाँ पे साथ साथ बड़े होते हैं, या those friendships somehow, or when you are long in one office together, those friendships become really bonded because of shared experiences. तो मैं जब एयरपोर्ट पे बैठा हुआ था, I was remembering the running through the streets, पतंग कट के आ रही है, right, running through the streets, पतंग लूटने भाग रहे हैं सब दोस्त, और दोस्त मिलके पतंग उड़ा रहे हैं, फिर वो काटा बे हो रहा है. All those things were, I was remembering. Then I started watching YouTube videos to see that ये जब हम लोग ग्रेजुएट करते हैं कॉलेज से, तो ये वीडियोस बनाते हैं, फेयरवेल वीडियोस, या जब हम ऑफिस से निकलते हैं तो फेयरवेल वीडियोस बनाते हैं. एंड दोज आर वेरी इंटेंस फ्रेंडशिप मोमेंट्स, वेरी इंटेंस. इन दैट I realized that every video had the soundtrack of that KK song, that Yaro Dosti, You know, that sound was there in all the videos, almost all the videos. And it suddenly struck me that what if McDowell's number 1, which is on friendship, has an anthem जो कि 5 साल बाद लोग बाग अपने videos में use करें. Why can't we do that? By the time I landed in Bangalore, I told the team that I've got an idea that we should do an anthem. We should not do the campaign. So they were taken aback because we had worked hard on the campaign. I said, just give me some time. So I sat in the conference room and I started thinking that Agra ke din, yeah. As I was saying, Google your own stories. And I said, ऐसी वैसी दोस्ती नहीं है, नंबर 1 यारी है. हर आसमां से ऊंची, समंदरों से गहरी, ऐसी वैसी दोस्ती नहीं, ये नंबर 1 यारी है. Then I remembered those summer days of Agra. छाँव में, धूप में, जाने कितने रूप में, ये तपी है, ये जली है, सोना बन के ये मिली, गलियों से गुजरी है, बरसों संवरी है, ऐसी वैसी दोस्ती नहीं, ये नंबर 1 यारी है. भटकूं कभी तो मोड़ती, टूटूं कभी तो जोड़ती, हर खुशी में, हर गम में, अच्छे बुरे मौसम में, बनके रहती साथ है, साया बनके साथ है, ऐसी वैसी दोस्ती नहीं, नंबर 1 यारी है. I wrote that song. I sent it to my composer friend at night. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, he responded in his own voice. He sang that song. Next day, I went to the client and I said, we have the campaign to present to you, but I'm not going to present to you. I'm just going to play you a song on friendship. And 5 years later, this song, or 2-3 years later, this song should be the anthem of friendship for India. So the client heard the song and they instantly liked it and they bought it. And thus came this campaign. Next year, we launched this whole thing with a 5-minute film of this anthem. A 5-minute film, but it was basically a music video. The song became really popular. Now when I go to the YouTube and Google, I realize that it's got many cover versions of it. Many farewell videos have got this song. So that is like something that I feel really good about. The fact that when I'm saying in front of you that Google your own memories, it really works. So I'll play this film for you, which is the second film that we did. So I worked with the team on this, but I directed this film also. And all the poetry and everything is written by me, again based on all the memories. So take a look at this.
अरे मैं नहीं कर सकता, तू जान आया.
तुम लोगों के ट्रैक्स भी यार.
तुम लोगों के नहीं, हम लोगों के.
हर आसमां से ऊंची है, समंदरों से गहरी.
बहुत सोचने लगा है. क्या सोच रहा है?
दौड़ते भागते इस शहर में यारों, कुछ यारी की बात करें. थोड़ा थमकर, थोड़ा रुककर इस यारी का एहसास करें.
ऐसी वैसी दोस्ती नहीं, ये नंबर 1 यारी है, ये नंबर 1 यारी है.
खट्टे मीठे दुख सुख के पल अपनी यारी के हिस्से हैं. जमा किए इस गुल्लक में हमने कितने सालों के सिक्के हैं.
मुझे हमारे पहले ट्रैक की याद आ गई.
खन 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 खनाएंगे, यूं ही जोड़ते जाएंगे. कोई ना जाने, हमने जाना. यही है दौलत, यही खजाना.
सोना बन के ये मिली, गलियों से गुजरी है, बरसों सवरी है.
कभी कभी जब दिल घबराए,
एक कदम लेके दे।
डर का बादल जब घिर घिर आए, यारी हाथ थाम कर बोले,
सेठ एक कदम।
कदम बढ़ा चल, हौले हौले। जोश का दरिया है तेरे अंदर, जीत ले मंजिल खुद के दम पर।
सब कुछ बदल गया यार। कुछ नहीं बदला और कभी बदलेगा भी नहीं।
हमसे करती बात है साए जैसी साथ है, ये नंबर 1 यारी है, ये नंबर 1 यारी है।
सेठ आना।
चल।
जीतूं मैं तो जश्न मनाती, हारूं तो ताकत बन जाती।
ए सेठ लेट्स गो।
अरे तुम लोग जाओ ना यार, मैं बैठा हूँ यहाँ पे सामान देखता हूँ, तुम जाओ।
अरे चल ना, बहुत मजा आएगा यार।
अरे मैं नहीं कर सकता यार, यू नो आई कांट। मैं यहीं ठीक हूँ।
यहाँ तो सभी ठीक है, पर हम उड़ने के लिए बने सेठ, उड़ने के लिए।
मनाती, यकीन दिलाती, जीना है तो जी भर के जी मुझे सिखाती मेरी यारी।
फिर डरना मत यार, हम है ना तेरे साथ।
इसी बात का तो डर है यारो।
McDowell's #1 soda, आज बनाओ #1 यारी।
You know, even though I wrote that line, but every time I hear that line, I get goosebumps. हम उड़ने के लिए बने हैं सिड, हम सब उड़ने के लिए बने हैं, really. My dear friend, mentor, teacher, guru that I worked closely with passed away this year, and it was quite terrible. Spent a lot of fun times working with him. So he was a big believer in Googling your own stories. You know, most of his work actually came from life. Dam laga ke haisha was jod laga ke haisha became chal meri dhanno became chal meri luna. You know, and kuch khas hai hum sabhi mein. So it was wonderful working with him, and I had the privilege, and we were partners. I was his art partner, and we worked really closely together. He had hired me into Ogilvy, but then we worked like partners. We were friends, you know, although he was like older brother to me, but we were more friends, and obviously there was a lot of learning. So there were some really iconic films that we worked together on, and one was this, which I'm going to show you right now. So let's take a look, remembering Piyush Sarji, and let's take a look at this film.
कुछ खास है हम सभी में, बात है हम सभी में, बात है खास है, कुछ स्वाद है, क्या स्वाद है जिंदगी में।
कैडबरीज डेयरी मिल्क, असली स्वाद जिंदगी का।
So just to, I don't want to, because that I've got other work to show also, but this story also, Piyush got this idea when coming back to India to work on this campaign in San Francisco, at the airport in a toy store, he saw an elderly couple in a toy store, playing like little kids with a toy, which they must be buying for their grandkids. But in that moment, they were like playing like kids. And Piyush got this idea that there's a child in all of us, and that's what's kuch khas hai hum sabhi mein. Anyway, when we were shooting this commercial, it was 6:30 or 7 in the morning, you know, the golden hour period when you have to take the best shot, which we all know. So the best shot of this film was the white shot where the girl comes running, yeah, and there are these pigeons and all, you know, beautifully flying in slow motion. And when the shot was being taken, there were no pigeons, you know, and I had worked really hard on the details of the film. You know, for example, the girl wearing a floral dress, flowing floral dress against the grey suits of the very stiff world, and her freedom is the floral flowing dress. So all those details were worked out. At the shoot day at 7:30 in the morning, the director Mahesh Matai, beautifully directed, he called out, "Action!" The girl comes running, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, what if there are these white pigeons here, white doves, which as she comes out running, fly in slow-mo, right? Because that's freedom. It enhances freedom. So I told Piyush, so Piyush, first thing he said was, "Tumhe ideas galat time pe kyun aate hain?" Right? Because shoot is going on, right? So anyway, I talked to the director. So director said, "Okay, sure, let's do it." He liked the idea. We stopped the shoot for another 40 minutes. Now, because it's Bollywood, you can arrange pigeons, yeah. So pigeons were arranged. White pigeons were arranged, yeah. Shot was again set up, right? 45 minutes later, the director shouted, "Action!" Right? And this Shimona Rashi comes out dancing beautifully, and the pigeons are going. Now, because they are Bollywood pigeons, they are not supposed to fly. They are supposed to only look. Now, everybody is giving me dirty looks, right? Because it was my idea. So, but kya hota hai na, mind's eye fools you. I'm sure all of you saw those pigeons flying beautifully, correct? Now see the film and see the pigeons. This time see the film for the pigeons.
कुछ खास है हम सभी में, कुछ बात है हम सभी में, बात है खास है, कुछ स्वाद है, क्या स्वाद है जिंदगी में।
कैडबरीज डेयरी मिल्क, असली स्वाद जिंदगी का।
Can you imagine my state at that time? मेरा मुंह क्या हो रखा था? Yeah, when I saw तो anyway, एक pigeon जो देखा वो 1.5 फुट उड़ा. And why it flew 1.5 foot? Because it was my job after that to do shoot to the pigeons while the shoot. Because I had the bright idea. This 1 minute. Just give me a minute. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Just a minute. Yeah. Second lesson, comes from blackjack. Because in blackjack what happens is that, as I said, I love playing blackjack. Now when you're dealt your cards, and I'm sure some of you or many of you might have played blackjack, you have choices. You can hit the next card, or you can stay, or you can split, or you can double down, depending on your cards and the dealer's cards, right? Your response and your strategy for the cards you've been dealt decides everything. You will see many people losing on blackjack tables because the decisions they make are not right. They are not based on the right probabilities. That taught me something. That there are no bad cards, there are only bad responses. In life, every day we are dealt certain cards. It's our response to the cards that decide, that tells us whether something is bad for us or good for us. The cards themselves are never bad. It's our response that's bad to any situations. And I'm telling you, in life also, if you hate somebody, oh, he doesn't respect me, he doesn't care for me. Yeah, why? Yeah, it's your response that's making you angry. There are many things in life, if you see. Coming down to advertising and branding, on advertising people here or branding people. There is no client that's bad. There is no product that's tough. There is no product that's boring. It's our response to those products. How many times have you seen that there is a brand with an agency and it keeps producing bad work? And that account shifts to another agency and suddenly fantastic work starts to come out. If you ask the prior agency, why was the bad work coming? Oh, the client is like that, they never buy. But from the other agency, they are buying. So I think in every situation in life, the cards we are dealt with, we can't do anything about. Any situation in life. But our response is up to us. Whether it can be a winning response or a losing response. I'll tell you a little story, then I'll show you a film that I worked on. We were working on Coca-Cola in Southeast Asia. This from Singapore. And we had won the pitch for launching Coca-Cola in Southeast Asia. And we had worked on 2 big films. And there was another story that we had really liked when we had presented it to the client. But the client was slightly worried that this is not the Coke kind of film that we produce. So we somehow managed him and all that along with the big film that we are doing, we'll shoot this also. So anyway, the big film was shot in Cape Town by a director who was from Amsterdam. So he was doing the post-production of that film in his office in Amsterdam. So we told him that while you are doing the post-production of this film, can you shoot this small film also? So anyway, this film was about a height-challenged person, the film. And so I, along with 2 of my team members, we flew down to Amsterdam. And the next day was the shoot. And the day prior, evening prior, we were at the hotel, in the hotel lounge, discussing the shoot the next day. The director was taking us through the shots, that this is what we are going to do. Around half an hour later, the actor who was playing the main role of this film, now this whole story was about a height challenged person, somebody who's who's height challenged, he's handicapped in a way. Now he was supposed to fly down from the UK, he was based in UK, this actor who was doing the role. So we were discussing and suddenly I heard this kind of, suddenly the buzz changes in a place and somebody enters, it happens. So I looked around and from the door, the usher at the door, the usher of the lounge was ushering in our star of our film, who was this high, I'm not joking, you'll see the film, right? But he was wearing a jacket, jeans and boots. And he was walking like with a swagger and going like, hi man, and all that. And then he comes and sits at our table. And within 15 minutes, yes, Sonal, how are you? Nice meeting you. I'm Karan and all this. Then he started telling us about all the films that he'd worked on. He'd worked on many Hollywood films. as the stunt double for kids, you know. So he'd worked on Narnia, worked on Oompa Loompa, as Oompa Loompa in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, many films. And he was like, you know, so we forgot about our film meeting and we were just listening to his stories. And suddenly it occurred to me that there is nothing in the person's demeanor and the confidence and the way he is speaking that he is in any way challenged. He seems more confident, much more with it, much more in control than any of us. And the next day's film that we were shooting was playing right in front of my eyes, you know. And that was a prime example of you are dealt cards with you, but it's your response that makes it different. So here's the film. Watch it. No CGI. This film doesn't have any CGI. Yeah. So every time I mean, I'm fortunate that I've been able to work this long career and, you know, written films that are inspiring and inspiring to me also. You know, every time I think about these scripts and these films, you know. Third thing came from my cooking lessons. The third lessons came from my, not cooking lessons, came from the cooking. So during COVID, I was cooking a lot, as many of us. And I had gone to, so this is me after making some aloo tikkis from Agra, you know, this cooked by me. Yeah. And so when I went to Singapore in one of the trips, I bought this really expensive Japanese chef's knife, right? That for my cooking. And a nice board, you know, and, you know, beautiful Miyake knives. And it has a really, really sharp edge. I mean, look at that edge, yeah? Very, very sharp. And I started to then look at YouTube videos and all. And like, you have to roll your fingers, you know, and do this, you know. And then I'm seeing some videos of chefs going, yeah, you know, the way they cut. It's so beautiful to watch. And all these Jamie Oliver's videos, you know. And I'm watching all that, and I realized that if you haven't perfected the craft of cooking or slicing, the repercussions or the price that you pay is a bloody chopped finger. Yeah? So it's a very high price you pay. Now what happens is, why are Jamie Oliver and all able to, with the sharpest of knife, go which is so beautiful to watch, yeah? How are they able to do so fast? Because they practice at the craft, they practice at the craft, they practice at the craft, till it becomes muscle memory. So then who are we to say in our day-to-day lives that, oh, I can't give it to you in half an hour, you know. If I give it to you in half an hour, then I won't be able to focus on my craft. Oh, I can't give it to you tomorrow. The world is moving so fast on digital media and everything. Things are coming so fast. So what I don't see as an excuse is that if something is churned out fast, why should it be bad? You practice and practice and practice so that craft, you respect craft so much that it becomes muscle memory, like these chefs. So that's the question that was in my mind, and I thought I'll share it with you. Now look at this. Look at the way this falls. Wow. And I'll share with you an example, right? If you have seen it, then maybe I can skip it because I've got we are running out. You've seen the sofa film, right, of Fevicol. Now, if you can watch sofa film later, right? It's got beautifully crafted. I mean, I was fortunate to work on this brand also, this film. And Prasoon has directed it, and he's brought in so much of craft into this film. Because of right from the correct colors of Rexine, correct colors of sofa furnishing, to getting into the details of the time period that it's going through, I think might as well see it. It will take at least just 2-3 minutes extra. Let's see it.
शर्मा की दुल्हन जो ब्याह के आई संग 2 सीटर सोफा ले आई पड़ गयो नाम शर्मा इनका सोफा हाय रे शर्मा इनका सोफा शर्मा इन बहन का ब्याह कराइन सोफा पे नवा कपड़ा चढ़ाइन बन गयो वो
Watch it for the details. There are many details in the film.
मिस्रा इनका सोफा लड़का कलेक्टर बनेलू सोफा पे रख जीन चमड़ा चढ़ेलू बन गो कलेक्टर का सोफा हाय रे कलेक्टर का सोफा कलेक्टर की बिटिया लव मैरिज करेली सोफा पे बंगाली किरमिट चढ़ेली बन गो वो बंगालन का सोफा हाय रे बंगालन का सोफा 12 घरों का निपटाओ सोफा 60 का होने को आओ देखी गंगा पार की शादी देखी देश के बाहर की शादी अब कोई ब्याह कराए या न कराए हाय पर सोफा बनाए तो दिल से बनाए
So craft, idea is there. Of course, idea is fantastic, but it's the craft. And craft, that's why I urge all the youngsters who are here that do not just become better at creating ideas. Ideas are supreme. Great stories have to be supreme. Great ideas have to be supreme. But do not leave behind craft, because craft is essential. How often when you're scrolling, you stop at some reel that has used some beautiful montage or beautiful dance or beautiful music or really beautiful cuts, yeah? Craft. And craft should become muscle memory. It should become second nature to you, that anything I'll do it with proper craft. Fourth lesson that I learned, that doing is better than dreaming, Doing is always better than dreaming. We all have our own, dreams of, ki someday I'll write a book. I had this, that one day I have to make a feature film. Now, I'll tell you what happens with dreams. Dreams are fantastic. Dreams are very enjoyable. Because dreaming is very comfortable. In dreams, you never fail. Have you realized that? When you've got a dream, you never fail in that dream. You have accolades, you have applause, you have, reaching milestones all in your head. Our heads can be really, really tricky, They can really fool us. And dreaming also means that you can never fail publicly, because it's all in your head. And why I'm saying is that dreams become very comfortable. Dream space becomes very comfortable. And the good thing about doing is that the moment you do something, even if you fail, you can always do it better the next time. When you do something, the process starts. And this doing is better than dreaming applies to many things in life, to big things, to small things, to everything. For example, any of you want to start a podcast? Start it tomorrow. Do not think, oh, I'll go to Amazon, I'll buy this particular gear. Nothing. Start with your phone. Yeah. You like somebody? You like somebody in your college, in your office? Tell the person. Tell the person today, now. That step of doing something is so important, right? And I realized that when I took the final decision that, acha kar dete hain yaar, right? Let's make a film. And the moment I took that decision, stars start to align. You are suddenly then offered a film. Because the moment you've decided that you want to quit agency life and get into filmmaking and directing and long form writing, I started getting the calls. Where people said that we were waiting for, we didn't know how to approach you. And you realize that doing always is, this is my, had this privilege and honor of working with such a fine artist like Dimple ji. Yeah. This is me with the clapper board. It was earlier called Sanam Noni Appa because that was the film's name. Then we made it younger and, because there's a lot of humor also in the film. It's an emotional story, a lot of humor in the film also. We had a really nice premiere. We had a really nice premiere at Mami. So, this dreaming versus doing is again a lesson that I learned and I worked upon, And for me, the last lesson of the day, let me just see if I've left anything. So, another aspect of doing, right, is that you don't have to start in any field. You don't have to start big. You can start small. Yeah. You want to direct a film, you start with your iPhone. Get your friends. As I said, that every step you take in doing something continues to make you better, one by one, one by one, one by one. Yeah. And I'll tell you my last lesson for the day. There is this again comes from blackjack. Yeah. And in blackjack, in a 6-deck card, I'll give you the statistics. Yeah. Where are the statistics? The statistic gone. 1 minute. I'll just give you the statistic. 1 minute. Yeah, I can't find it. But the basic statistic, I might be wrong by some decimal here and there. In blackjack, in a 6-deck card, you might be on a losing streak. 1 game lost, 2nd game lost. Oh my God, the cards are coming bad. Oh, the cards are coming bad. Oh, the cards are coming bad. But remember, statistically, there's a 4.68% chance of your next card being a blackjack. So after every 13 or 14 rounds or so, you are definitely going to get a blackjack. So anytime when life puts us down, when things are not going our way, when work-wise, project-wise, projects are not going our way, things are getting rejected, ideas are not coming, I'm facing a mental block, I'm facing a creative block, we have to tell ourselves that there is a blackjack that's going to come sooner or later.
So with resilience, with doggedness, if I just hold on, if I just continue to do my best, keep taking the best decision irrespective of the cards that are being dealt to me, blackjack is definitely going to come. And I'll close with one commercial again, I was fortunate enough to work long way back. But see the kind of blackjack this guy goes back with. It's a lovely commercial, right? Again, had a pleasure to work with Piyush, with him as me in partnership on this film. And see the kind of blackjack this guy gets because of his innovativeness, because of the way he looks at life.
चुटकी में चिपकाए फेविक्विक.
So that's it from me today. Thank you so much. And I am also getting better with practice. Otherwise, most of the time when I speak, I always overrun my time. So people in the front row who are the organizers and all, who keeping strict time, keep giving me those looks from there. But this time I practiced, a lot, so I actually finished 3-4 minutes before time. So I think we got some time for questions. And thank you so much for being such good audience.
Fantastic session. Let those claps keep going on. One more round of that. Yeah, please. I have a lot of questions, but I think I'm going to keep that privilege with me for later. But quick 2-3 questions. We have time till 11:15. I think the first hand goes up. Maybe 1 or 2 girls, if we can give chance to them. And then, yeah, please go ahead quickly. There's some mics around here.
Thank you, sir, for giving this lecture.
Keep it very short. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sir, I want to ask that if you could tell any story with Piyush Pandey, sir, because it was always my dream to meet him, but unfortunately we lost him. So if you can tell 1 or 2 story with him, which you really like, or any inspiring story that you can tell.
There are so many stories, that maybe we should have one session especially for this. Because there's some wonderful stories that it was so wonderful. Okay, one story that sticks out, which is a little funny also, but also showed, that made me that I must join now, because I'll tell you the story. So we were supposed to shoot a film in Mumbai. I was in Lintas, Delhi, my first job. So for my first big film, which was Monte Carlo Collections ka launch film. So that's those sweaters, right? Monte Carlo. By the way, that little logo that I designed is still surviving. That little triangle I designed. One of my first jobs as a professional. So we were supposed to launch this film and we were coming to shoot in Bombay. So Prasoon was at that time in the films department in Lintas, Delhi, and Prasoon was a friend from NID. He's also from NID. And both of us were going to Bombay to shoot this film for 7 days. And I was imagining that we'll be staying in this nice 5-star hotel, because as a youngster, to get a chance to stay in a 5-star hotel on the cost of the producer of the film, a big thing, you can order anything, enjoy luxury and all. But then Prasoon comes and says कि भैया कह रहा है कि होटल में नहीं रहना है, तुम घर पे रहोगे. तो मैंने कहा very sorry about you, for you. तुझे अब घर पे रहना पड़ेगा. पर तू मुझसे मिलने होटल में आ सकता है. Right? We'll have fun. We'll go to the discotheque and all. तो इसे नहीं, भैया कह रहा है तू भी वहीं रहेगा. मैंने कहा फंस गए यार. तो anyway, I also landed up there. So first evening, right, we started having a couple of drinks and all that, and then Piyush started to, his signature laugh, and he started laughing. And then he looks at me and says, "Yeah, what are you doing in Delhi, both of you? No, come, right? Sonal, you come and join me, right?" Because he'd seen some of my work earlier. He said, "You have to join me." So anyway, वो रात गई, फिर हम दोनों, मैं और प्रसून, उनके गेस्ट रूम में सो रहे थे, राइट? तो हमने नीचे गद्दे लगा दिए थे, राइट, दोनों ने, और नीचे गद्दे लगा के वहाँ पे सो रहे थे. At 5:30 in the morning, right? I think Prasoon had put an alarm for 6 or something, right? वो जो that we'll wake up by 6 we have to leave. और रात में till 12:30 and all we were laughing, drinking, so सुबह का भगवान वाले के, but anyway we were sleeping. At 5:30 in the morning, I was suddenly woken up by this voice, you know, and I woke up like that. I didn't know where I was, right? And then I said, "Oh yeah, Piyush's house." And Prasoon also woke up. And then we saw in that low angle, right, the bada bhaiya is standing, Piyush, with 2 cups of tea. He had made tea for his brother and for the brother's friend to wake them up that the first day of their big shoot, they shouldn't be late. And I said, "Yeah, this is a great combination of a disciplinarian leader and a loving leader." Can you see? So that stays in my mind, and that tells you, that this is one story that I can tell you, that for any leader, you can't just lead. You have to lead with example. And you have to lead with love and care. That's what I saw that day. And 2-3 days later, he suddenly comes up and says, "Yeah, I've got an idea. So can you do the layout for it?" So I said, "I'm working for Lintas, your competing agency." So I said, "Make it, right?" So anyway, we were not handling any competing brand. It was for Luna moped. We didn't have any moped. So वो kitchen table पे बैठ के I did the layout. He sold that layout. He said, "This is the kind of work I need." He sold the layout to the client. Next day it came in the papers, right? A nice, lovely ad. And then by the time the shoot finished, I was sitting in the editing studio and his call came. And he said, "Sonal, come and meet us at Ogilvy." So I said, "For what?" So he said, "No, you come." So I went and met there, and they started talking about roles and money and all that. मैं ऐसे बिल्कुल पकड़ में आ गया था अंदर, Although I didn't have any thoughts of leaving Lintas at that time, with Alec Padamsi's agencies and big agency, and Ogilvy was at that time like kind of a not so well known agency. Lintas was well known. तो मैंने कहा मैं Lintas छोड़ के तो नहीं जाऊँगा. But finally, when I saw all these things, that I'm so glad that I took that decision finally. Prasoon and we both moved to Bombay. He joined Lintas and I joined Ogilvy.
Wonderful. Yeah, you can keep this. We had some.
You can write to me anytime, call me, I'll tell you more stories. Yeah?
I think Sanjay bhai, we have one session with him lined up remembering Piyush Pandey. Maybe in his upcoming birthday or something of that sort. We had one question here. Someone had raised it. Yeah, second row, please. We'll take one more after this.
Good morning, sir. You shared one really nice tip about how to be more creative, which is about Googling your own stories, life. So it's basically about reminiscing and introspecting, digging deep. When one does that, there are plenty of thoughts that come fleeting by. In that moment, how does one develop that nuance or skill to connect the right thought with the right sort of execute it, the campaign, whatever the brief is? How does one develop that skill set that, okay, this is the thought that I can connect it, and how does one have that eureka moment that you had?
So this is a very interesting question, very important question, and I think this happens. There's no Ramban Dawa for it, but I've realized how it happens. That when you are given a problem, let's say you're working on a campaign, for a product. You should, as a creative person, forget the client, account management person, forget the planner, forget even the client, you as a creative person should know about the product inside out. If it's a packet of chips that you're advertising, look at the chips pack, not only from the front, from the back, like that food farmer does, he keeps looking at the back, right? Back of pack. Look at everything. Look at the way the people tear the pack. Look at the way, get to know what is the share price of the company. Basically, get to know the product, get to know the consumer, get to know everything inside out. Just immerse yourself in it. Immerse yourself. Then what happens is, then when you start to reminisce, right? The right connections happen. And also understand the problem deeply. Keep reading the problem, right? Keep talking about the problem. Basically, the solution can only start from the problem. If you know the problem really well, if you have redefined the problem very well, only then a good solution can come. There's a graphic designer called Bob Gill. He's no more, very, very good mind from the UK. He said he got a brief to design a chair. So he started designing a chair. Then he said, why should the brief be bloody design a chair? Brief should be design something to sit on. So he reframed the problem. Design something to sit on. If you are told to design, if you tell yourself, I have to design a chair, my client has asked me to design a chair, you will only think of a back, you will think of 4 legs. If you tell yourself, my client doesn't know better, his need is not a chair, his need is something to sit on. Then you can come with a beach bag, what do you call it? Bean bag. You can come up with a stone, right? You can come up with whatever. So,
thank you so much.
The last or the second last. Yeah.
Sir, my question to you is, how do you think is the agency business changing for people who are entering, say, after 3-4 years, as currently also there are dozens of mediums through which one can market their products?
Sorry, come again. Give me the question again, sorry.
Sir, how do you think is the agency business changing for people who say want to enter after 3-4 years?
Means 3-4 years from now?
Yes.
For the young graduates, they're college.
So you are studying right now, you'll be entering agency business in 3-4 years.
Yes, sir.
See, I don't know whether agency business will change in 3-4 years, right? Because it's changing so fast. Yeah. But I can tell you one thing, that everything that I told you, right, will be timeless. It's very important that you take lessons from here and apply. But beyond that, be absolutely on top of technology, prompting, AI, because these are going to govern our lives more and more and more and more, And who knows, in 3-4 years' time, when people like you would find great ways to use AI in advertising, which people don't know right now. So in fact, it's not that you will be driven by what is happening to advertising tomorrow. Maybe you are the person who will be driving the change. Do you know what I mean? Because it's changing really fast. So I don't know what's going to happen to big agencies, for example, As it is, they are languishing. So. But these lessons, these are of heart, of your own memories, of ideas, of consumer insights, of being curious, of talking. We spend so much time on our screens these days that we don't just talk to people. I think hanging around with people, talking and doing things together, those things should never go away.
Wonderful. I think that brings us to the conclusion of this session. I see a lot of hands going up, but I'm sorry. I think this was to end at 11:15. Yes. Sure, Shailesh, by you, I can't say no to you, but yeah, please.
Sir, how often you have faced this question कि भाई सोनाल भाई wonderful, बहुत creative बनाया, मजा आया, माल बिकेगा क्या? Yeah. क्योंकि creativity when takes front seat, often the sales is very unsure.
Yeah. See, the thing is, then You can only tell the client, अगर कोई client पूछे कि माल बिकेगा क्या, you can only tell the client कि यार trust in me, क्योंकि मैंने जो काम किया उसने काफ़ी माल बेचा in the past. But one thing I absolutely believe in, that if my work or any work, it might win the bloody best of awards, Cannes, Lions, Grand Prix, whatever. If it has not sold any products, right, then it's not creative. Then it's not creative. Because क्या होता है, हम लोग ना कई बार without caring of what the product is all about, and that's why at times we don't like clients, because we think that client has rejected our idea, because we fall in love with our idea so much without thinking so much from his side. मैं तो ये कह रहा हूँ कि I'm telling you guys, youngsters, if you are working with companies handling any account na, right, look at that brand, look at whatever, buy those brand shares. मैं तो अभी सोचता हूँ कि जब मैं 90s में एशियन पेंट्स पे काम कर रहा था, पिडिलाइट पे काम कर रहा था, तब उनके शेयर्स खरीदे होते ना, तो मैं तो कब का रिटायर हो चुका होता.
No, but I think this is wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Sanjay bhai, 3 years, one of the finest sessions this morning we've had. Thank you for bringing Sonal to Ahmedabad and to AMA. It has been sensational, and I'm sure at AMA we say that once you come here, you don't go back. So we'll keep calling you once over again and again. But wonderful, wonderful. We take this promise and we wish you all the best for your new innings. It's a season of quitting, it seems. Arijit Singh has quit, and I think now he's quit the agency life as well.